Good morning, class. I am Teacher Bliss, and I hope you're all doing fine today. Previously, Miss Landero discussed about the four pillars of learning, which, as we've learned, is the key towards a successful 21st century education. While I was scrolling through Facebook, I saw this quote from Henry David Thoreau. He says we are constantly invited to be who we are, meaning there is essentially a hand reaching out to invite us to live in the confinement we've allowed to become our lives, the pressure of the outside world, and attack a world that means to us, not obligatory but for the opportunity to be who we want to be, an opportunity to make every if only happen. Because every opportunity to make our dreams happen is always there and perpetually available. What we need is the skills, and that class is what I am discussing to you this morning. For this lecture, I will discuss about the 21st century life and career skills which are under the two pillars of learning, learning to live together and learning to do. Before everything else, let us define first what is 21st century life and career skills. The 21st century life and career skills are skills that learners need to thrive as productive members of 21st century societies and beyond. It enables learners to make informed decisions that prepare them to engage as active citizens in a dynamic global society and to successfully meet the challenges and opportunities of the 21st century global workplaces. Today's life and work environments require far more than thinking skills and content knowledge. The ability to navigate the complex life and work environments in the globally competitive information age requires students to pay rigorous attention to developing life and career skills. But before a teacher can develop the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values in the learner, a teacher must develop these within himself or herself. The following are the 21st century life and career skills. We have here social and cross-cultural skills, flexibility and adaptability, initiative and self-direction, productivity and accountability, and lastly, the leadership and responsibility. The first two sets of skills in the list are linked with the pillar learning to live together. After all, one needs to be flexible and should have a strong capacity to adapt to the fast-paced changes in the 21st century if one is to thrive in this environment. The diversity of people in communities and nations also requires one to develop skills in relating with people across cultures. The last three sets of skills, on the other hand, are related to learning to do. These skills will be needed by learners when they leave the confines of the school and enter into the world of work later on in their lives. Now, we will discuss the two life and career skills related to the pillar learning to live together. First, we have the social and cross-cultural skills. As a teacher in the 21st century, it is important to develop social and cross-cultural skills. This skill is described as the ability to effectively interact with others in diverse groups. And as a teacher, you are expected to be an instructional leader in your school who, among other things, helps ensure that the school is a safe and conducive venue for learning. Creating a safe and comfortable learning environment in schools means that students feel accepted, respected, and heard. They must also feel that they have a right to express themselves and be respected for their opinions and for who and what they are. As a teacher, You are tasked to create a school environment that respects, accepts, and celebrates cultural diversity. What is cultural diversity, by the way? So, cultural diversity pertains to differences in culture, gender and ethnicity, race, sex, socio-economic status, language, religion, ideology, nationality, appearance and body structure, and other characteristics that individuals may have difficulty in adjusting to when relating with others around them. This way, the students can learn in a safe and accepting environment where all their learning needs are addressed in the best way possible. Nevertheless, this poses a real challenge to some people. Teachers may find it difficult to understand why some of their students are absent from class during certain religious holidays. Students may have difficulty understanding why their peers look different and resort to teasing or even violence as a result of their failure to understand the source of diversity. Now, let us go to the learning to live together life and career skill number 2, the flexibility and adaptability. So, how do you develop flexibility and adaptability in your life as a 21st century teacher? Let us find out by reading the critical incident below. Teacher Lee, a high school teacher from a rural government school, transferred to another school in the city. Teacher Lee encountered challenges in her new school. For one, the class size was much larger. For another, while she handled algebra for many years in her former school, the only available teaching slot in her new school was geometry, a subject she hadn't taught in a long while. The students were also more diverse, coming from different nationalities and cultures. On her first day of teaching, she was overwhelmed and amazed at the availability of technological gadgets for teaching, such as computers, multimedia projector, access to internet-based learning resources, TV, and other audio-video equipment. The shift for her was rapid, and she was both shocked and confused. She didn't know what to do, for she was not very much familiar with the use of technology in the classroom. While they had computers in her previous school, these were mainly used for making reports and other administrative purposes. She wanted to approach her co-teachers for help, but they were all busy. Some even seemed unfriendly to her, as she heard them making comments about her being primitive. The changes were just too many for her, and these were all happening at the same time. Teacher Lee had adjustments to make in her personal and professional life as well. Partnership for 21st century skills describes adaptability as the ability to fit into varied roles, responsibilities, and contexts. In the critical incident that we have read, Teacher Lee was exposed to new students, new subject matter to teach, new school setting, which are all very different from what she has been used to. For her to adopt, it is necessary to adjust to the new roles and responsibilities required of her in the new environment. Being adaptable also implies working effectively even if you happen to face new situations, new environments, and changing priorities. Even if roles and tasks are ever changing, a person who is adaptable will not stop working but will be willing to make the necessary changes to achieve the goal he or she has set. As a teacher, you must recognize that changes are inevitable in this current generation. You must be able to adapt to these changes if you want to thrive in the 21st century. So now that you have learned about the importance of adaptability and how you can demonstrate it, it's time that you know more about flexibility. Another important life and career skill under the pillar learning to live together. Partnership for 21st century skills describe flexibility as being able to effectively incorporate feedback into one's actions. It also implies dealing positively with praises, setbacks, and criticisms. As a teacher, you will often find yourself in situations that require a lot of flexibility, creativity, and the ability to change plans at the drop of a hat. Flexibility is an important skill for any teacher because anything can happen in the classroom, in school, and even at home. In the classroom, a flexible teacher responds to different classroom situations and adjusts instruction to best serve the needs of students. Flexibility means being able to use a variety of teaching techniques and strategies. This skill also comes in handy in the classroom when, for a variety of reasons, the teacher needs to adjust his or her plans for a particular day. A flexible teacher is able to make modifications to the plan under specific circumstances. The question is, how do you develop flexibility in your daily life and in your life as a teacher? Here are some flexibility fundamentals adapted from Eder on 2010. First is anticipate changes in your plans. Since everything changes, your plans must change too. For example, there were typhoons, class suspensions, student assemblies and programs, teachers' meetings, computer crashes, internet failures, and a host of other things can leave you with a well thought out lesson plan that you cannot use anymore. Teachers have to be able to adapt to these changes quickly. Second is learn to prioritize well. Teachers, as we know, are often laden with tasks and responsibilities. These do not only cover instruction related work, but also other non teaching responsibilities such as coaching, mentoring new teachers, serving as school paper advisor, and others. You cannot take on all tasks and be effective in all of them. You must know what is essential to hang on to and what you can let go. Do not take on more than what you can handle. Setting your priorities right involves flexibility. This involves the skill of being able to determine what is important and what is not. Your priorities guide all your choices. When you prioritize, you identify what needs to be done, rank what needs to be done first, and focus on what's foremost or important in your daily life and in your life as a teacher. Third is keep things balanced. Being flexible also means being able to give up one task or responsibility for something that you value more. This way, you get to keep a good sense of balance on what's more important to you and your life as a teacher. Keeping things balanced not only refers to tasks and responsibilities, but also in balancing diverse views and beliefs to reach workable solutions, particularly in a multicultural environment. Being flexible means understanding these diverse views, and when conflicts arise due to these differences, being flexible means being able to negotiate to reach a peaceable resolution or compromise acceptable to everyone. At this point, we will discuss the life and career skills related to the pillar learning to do. First, we have learning to do life and career skill number one, initiative and self-direction. So how do you describe a person who has initiative and self-direction? Partnership for 21st Century in 2009 describes initiative and self-direction as first, the ability to work independently. Exercising initiative and self-direction implies the ability to work without the assistance of others. While working with other people and in teams is also important in life at work. There are occasions when you will need to be confident in working independently and in no need of someone else's help. This also means being able to monitor, define, prioritize, and complete tasks without direct oversight. Second is the ability to manage goals and time. This includes setting goals with tangible and intangible success criteria. It also involves being tactical or short-term and strategic or long-term goals. Moreover, it implies being able to utilize time and manage workload efficiently. It is common for 21st century workers to do multitasking, where one takes on different work, roles, and responsibilities at the same time. This is even more true in your life as a teacher. You are facilitator of learning in the classroom, counselor for the students, while you do administrative reports needed in your classroom and school. Alongside these teaching roles, you also have a role to play in your family as a wife or husband or a daughter or son. All these will eat up a chunk of your time, and you must learn how to manage your time wisely between personal life and your teaching life. And lastly, the ability to be self-directed learners. Self-directed learners go beyond basic mastery skills and our curriculum to explore and expand one's own learning and opportunities to gain expertise, demonstrate initiative to advance skill levels towards a professional level, demonstrate commitment to learning as a lifelong process, and reflect critically on past experiences in order to inform future progress. The second set of learning to do skills for life and work in the 21st century is productivity and accountability. Productivity involves being able to deliver a specified task in a given period of time using available resources. Accountability, on the other hand, connotes being responsible to someone or for some activity. So, how do you develop within yourself the skills of being productive and accountable? As a 21st century teacher, you must realize that productivity and accountability involve setting the right priorities, careful planning, and applying knowledge and skills to make wise decisions that create quality results in a fast-changing environment. You demonstrate accountability through your efficient time management, appropriate resource allocation, personal integrity, and self-monitoring to meet the demands of productivity. There are two important skills for you to develop along the lines of productivity. Accountability in the 21st century. These are manage projects. This implies that you should be able to set and meet goals, even in the face of obstacles and competing pressures. Also, you should be able to prioritize and manage work to achieve the intended result. Teachers are often given tasks in addition to usual teaching assignment, and you must be able to manage these additional work well. For example, you may be assigned to serve as an advisor in investigatory research projects of students. This task will require time and attention outside your instructional time, and it is important for you to plan out your strategy to handle both teaching and this additional task well. The second is to produce results. This does not simply mean having an output, but producing one with high quality with the optimum use of available resources. As a teacher, you may need to submit reports to the school head. The report output should always have the stamp of quality and excellence. The last set of skills needed in life and at work in the 21st century is leadership and responsibility. Leadership is the ability to inspire, encourage, and support members of the group to perform tasks with dedication and hard work. A leader is characterized as one having the skill for a compelling vision of the future, and above all, leaders demonstrate integrity and ethical behavior in using influence and power. As a 21st century teacher, you are tasked to take on leadership roles not only in your classroom and in your school, but in your family and community as well. Responsibility, on the other hand, is the ability to be personally accountable for an assigned task or course of action in an organization or group. Someone who is responsible acts with the best interests of the larger community in mind, more often foregoing one's concerns. So, as a teacher, you have responsibilities that go beyond merely passing on knowledge and disciplining the students. You are also responsible for helping your students lead a fulfilling and successful life in the 21st century and beyond. Indeed, a teacher is viewed as someone who does not only impart factual knowledge to students, but one who has the power and responsibility to shape a better world for them. So, why is responsibility an important skill to develop in your personal and in your life as a 21st century teacher? Responsibility is a necessary skill for you to cope with the changing needs and tasks in the 21st century and to adequately prepare your students for life and work after they leave the portals of the school. To sum up, this lecture focused on the education pillars, learning to live together and learning to do. You learned about the five 21st century life and career skills under these pillars, namely social and cross-cultural skill, flexibility and adaptability under the pillar learning to live together, initiative and self-direction, productivity and accountability, and leadership and responsibility under the pillar of learning to do. That was all for today's lecture. Thank you for listening and have a good day ahead.